Hello, it's me again. So what I'm going to attempt doing, hopefully this is going to be okay, I'm going to attempt doing a bit of a book through. Say attempt doing because I'm using a wobbly old tripod and it's not necessarily very comfy to do this. But yeah, I'm going to start. And you can probably guess what with. It's with Warhammer Armies. It's the main codex for, I say codex, main army book sort of thing for Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd edition. And I attempt to have a bit of a book through. I'd already, I used to do a few book throughs. Yeah, so I just want to sort of say I apologise for any sort of wobbliness or anything like that. I should really get a new tripod for this, and I'm trying my best with this. Hopefully some stuff will be a bit better. Just trying to adjust the camera a little bit, sort of having to hold part of it steady. But yeah, I had originally tried to do some book throughs with on my previous channel before some weirdness happened. YouTube decided to be very nice people before that, at my detriment. But anyway, I'd got a variety of book throughs up on there, and it's looking at some of the really much older books for that, and hopefully I'm going to recreate some of those, and they're going to be attempts to be in a bit of a better quality. I'm going to start with this. Another bit of a thing is that I do have many of the usual core books for this period, so I apologise for that. So I do have the rule book. I have Rogue Trader, 1st edition Woof Up. I've got one of the campaign books for that. I've got the rule book for this and this, of course, you can see it. And I have Lost and the Damned, Slaves to Darkness book. And hopefully soonish, one of the reasons I'm sort of doing this sort of now is hopefully soonish I should have the Slaves to Darkness Realms of Chaos, Slaves to Darkness book. That's it. I will get it the right way around. But anyway, what I'm going to do is we're going to have a bit of a look through here. I'm going to try and do a few more book throughs a bit like this, because some of these are sort of like gaming history sort of stuff. But yeah, by Nigel Stillman and Friends, Stillmania. But yeah, some of the interior artwork's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I think the cover for this, and I think the rule book were John Sibic and Rogue Trader. And of course, with a lot of these, you got big list of credits. They actually credited the artist and stuff. And I know a few people who had done these books and had split between doing doing these in like sections and stuff. But yeah, that's a Paul Bonner, it says in the corner. That's cool. Because and of course with the Armies book, what they did do is, you can probably see at the top of the page, War Altars, Hosts, and you go into Magic with Magic Points. They extended some of the rules, and it's a list of spells for quick reference. Please pardon the traffic if you heard that. And I'm not necessarily planning I don't really know. I'm not necessarily doing an in-depth review. But yeah, dragons and stuff. Creating magic weapons. Magic missile, magic armour. Got the point system in the column there. Magic standards. Because I quite like the idea of the icon of divine wrath, and it shoots an army banner and one lightning bolt strike per magic phase. This is a range of 24 inches and causes D3 strength 4 hits automatically. No power points are expended or recorded. Yeah, because I'd been sort of having pardon me. I'd had a bit of a fiddle around trying to do like an army list, and it's sort of I'll get to those in a bit. I'd try magic instruments, scrolls, rings. Yeah, and it's one of the things I thought quite good was that each army can have, each wizard can have a different number of scrolls, and also a different number of spells per on each scroll, and a different number of And level 3 and 4 are debatably a bit too powerful. Undead plague carts. Undead chariots. Yeah, it's like it's got the snotling wagons all the way back into the 80s. Pump wagons and stuff. Yeah, Chaos Dwarf war machines. Well, yeah, you got the bestiary. Not necessarily sure. I'd have to have a bit of a check a bit later on. But I know the symbols in the corners denote who actually did that. TR. And I'm not necessarily sure I can see what... yeah, I'm trying to think who TR was. The art styles... No, TA, that's Tony Ackland. Yeah. He's still about. I've seen some photos of him visiting Boyle and stuff. A few mates are going to Boyle and stuff in there next year, 2026. So it'd be good to go and meet some of them in there. At the moment, we're just after Boyle 2025, and it does look like it's a potentially good... a potential option that I'm able to go down for that next year, hopefully. Not sure if we'll get any games in or anything, but yeah. Rat ages. I'm sort of glad the Skaven, because we're quite early on. Still managed to keep in. Selecting your armies. Yeah, they go into stuff where it's, it's basically very much sort of decide on the points value, and then just sort of you have to spend up to or below a percentage of that's total on different sections. And you got troops, characters, out of which you have to take mounts and scrolls and magic and stuff, magic weapons and stuff, magic items, and also champion leaders, unit leaders of champions and stuff. But I do like this piece of art. I'm potentially given a chance to possibly be able to go down to Foundry and visit in person. Before that, if I manage to do that, I might try and pick up a tiny army's worth of stuff to, yeah. I've got I've two separate ideas for an Empire force. One for a Bretonnian force and stuff, but yeah, or Dark Elves. Yeah, but yeah. So I might go down. I might try and see if it's okay to go down, pick it up in person, and do a bit. See if they're okay. Fingers crossed. With me doing a bit of filming while I'm there. I know it annoys people. Some people that go to Boyle and stuff and then film, and they're just there to film. I know it's a bit of it's meant they intended it to be sort of an open day for friends and stuff, and I'm not necessarily wanting to irritate a lot of people, and it's Can I film you? Oh, I'm going to shove the camera up my nose, and look, it's all hair up there. Another such nonsense, and I'm not necessarily wanting to irritate people with that, but anyway, a bit of a tangent that. I'm not necessarily wanting to irritate people by being in the face of the camera and with no intention of sort of joining in with any of the games or anything. So I might just go down and have a bit of a look round. But it's more with Dark Elves as more of an example. You got the heroes. That's ordinary martial types, and you get the wizards. You pay for that, and then it's if you give them any monsters listed here, dragons of 6 different sizes, with or without wings, griffins, wyvern, temple dog, giant spider, chimera, or you can have the cold one and horses and stuff. But that's for characters and stuff. It's quite nice that they've got dragons with and without wings. Well, they give they're a bit different per army, but you can take. It's like with these guys, a minimum of a third of on rank and file, but that can be. They don't have knights. They don't have special slots and rare slots necessarily, but so you can just have like all cavalry or all infantry, and you can bulk out on some of the more elite stuff, as long as restrictions. You've got to have one hero. Infantry is, rank and file is whole army less one character. You have to take a hero as the general, and then you can have up to half the points of half the army points. But it says down over here. Sorry, maximum of 26 heroes. But you can have like a level 5 hero, can be quite cheap, and they are generally they've got assassins in this bit, the heroes are the lower heroes are assigned to units as their unit leader, and different bit for assassins, wizards as well. Whoever has the highest leadership stats, or particularly the leadership over here, whoever is the highest of that is should be the Armies general. But with this level 25 wizard is still quite powerful, even though having one attack. But matching leaderships for everything with the ordinary hero, higher intelligences and stuff. But if you're whacking him on a dragon or a griffin or something, still pretty cool. Anyway, another key bit is with this. This is I like a lot of the little sort of thumbnail bits and stuff, like with the doom breaks and stuff. One stat increase with this weapon skill. Weapon skill with that one. That one's got 3, and it's strength, initiative, presumably weapon skill with that. But you get other stuff. These get the scout rule as well. But it's because it's quite interesting. I quite like this way of doing stuff, because it's. Pardon me. I'm having to hold on to part of this, but keeping an eye on the camera. You have to take 40 warriors. They can be split up. Take at least 40 warriors. Just trying to adjust the camera. But they have to be in units of between 15 and 30. So you basically have to have like at least 2 units, don't you, really? But you can have them 2 units of 20, and you can equip them slightly differently. And you have to have 20 crossbowmen and between 10 and 20 in a unit. So, yeah. And they can have like double-handed weapons as well, and one unit may substitute for repeater crossbows. Can have shields. Sorry, one unit can have double-handed weapons. Yep, whelp masters. Up to 4 repeater bolt throwers. Oh, you have to have 10 witch elves as well, but you can have 2 hand weapons and poison attacks. Yeah, there's shades as well. I'm just having a look to... Yeah, 3 types of cavalry, or 4 types of cavalry. One's just ordinary, yeah. They're a bit more elite, and so on. But yeah, and then it goes into allies. So they can have Femir and Undead as allies. Skaven, Chaos. Recommends having baggage trains, because I think if you do have mercenaries, Nippon, or Hobgoblins, Ogres, if you're taking mercenaries, you have to have a baggage train, because it's part of the whole sort of thing. It's because part of the whole rules are that if you're not paying them, you roll to see if they get offered more money by your opposing team and your opponents and stuff. But yeah, this is rather. I'm trying to see what I think that's PD. I think I'm trying to see over here. I am trying to see who the PD was, because I know he's done the inner covers as well. I'm struggling to see from this angle. But yeah, I'm not sure. Might be Angus Fieldhouse. Might have misread it, but yeah. But yeah, it's likely. I like that style. Well, yeah, of course you get wood elves, different monsters, eagle, unicorn, female riders only, and you get a different mix of what you can take. And it's still sort of half. Up to over a third of rank and file. Up to 8 wizards. Where was it? It was here. Up to 24 heroes in total. It tells you here about sort of how many spells can be on a scroll, how many scrolls a wizard can take and stuff. 3 of any of the army's characters may wear a ring with a spell of level 3 or lower. 2 characters may be equipped with magic armour. Points you have to pay comes out of the what's it slot? Slot for characters. Trying to adjust this again. Hopefully I'll be able to get another camera soon. Well, yeah, these guys get chariots. Only 2 types of cavalry. Yeah. Only a light shock. But yeah, just sort of looking at this. Yeah, and it's have to take up at least 30 archers. But you do have 2 other types. These guys are scouts. You get elite archers. War dancers and stuff. I do like the examples of banners and shields that they put in. yeah, it's a frightful looking tree man. Well, yeah, you get the shapeshifters, you get the beastmasters like the whelpmasters, falconers. Yeah, and it's like these guys can be allied with zotes. No mercenaries for these guys, but they can have hosts, ethereal or otherwise. But yeah, it's yeah, you could get the plastic. A unit of Wood Elf Guards made up of Warhammer Fantasy Regiment's plastic figures with a metal command group. And 2 War Dancer troops there. Scarlock. But yeah, it's quite interesting. It's like with... Yeah. You can have up to 2/3 of this High Elves as your characters. Still have to have 1/3 of them. But yeah, wizards and stuff. But you can have up to 18 heroes. You can have dragons and stuff. Pegasi, Hippogriff, Griffin. Because it's sort of, is quite quite sort of, and because it's like with these, it's might be quite interesting to have a lot of the cheap Dragon 1 with or without wings, because you can still have the example of stuff is so only some of the armies have the sort of the colour palette with the example troops, but yeah, and in colour this time, but yeah, High Elves can have Dragon Cane. You can have what was it, +4 shock, shock elite with winged dragons and stuff. So it might be quite fun having a load of nopals on all the dragons and it just being sort of... I mean, how many points is... And this is a troop option. And what was it? Yeah, 315 points per model. And you can have up to 5. Up to 5, all of them can go in a unit. And it's 2 points for the lance, 1 point for the shield, 2 points for a potential bow. And they have heavy armour and a hand weapon already. It's, yeah. And then down here you get the shore riders and chariots. So it might be quite sort of thinking a load of dragons, a load of dragon riders. You get the bare minimum of them going, and then and then probably bulk out with chariots. But yeah, there are no restrictions on the High Elves. So you could actually potentially do that. All of them start at 0 and stuff, but yeah, I like this because it's a ship's company, merchant company, guard. I mean, all right, it's a shore rider, but it's the merchant companies are more like the Knots. What do they call them? Lothern Sea Guard. That's it. So, and it's sort of suggesting sea elf war dancers. Sort of suggesting that marine bolt throwers. So they're sort of suggesting that you can do sort of like an all-out sea elf thing. Yeah, the natural allies of High Elves and Sea Elves are their rustic sylvan kindred from the old and new worlds. And new worlds. Ah. So it's like it does suggest that you could find like colonies of wood elves in any other place. Probably not in the jungles of the Southlands or Lustria, but yeah. So yeah, you can only have wood elves as allies. No mercenaries. But yeah. Yeah, Empire, of course. That was some fun stuff. But yeah, you can't have anything winged with these guys. But you can have like hero with arquebus, blunderbuss, variety of black powder weapons. The stuff is, yeah, flagellant. But, yeah, it's the colour plates as well. Yeah, here we are. At least 10 unbrushed Schutzen crossbowmen. So you can have, yeah. And at least 20 Hellblitzen with halberdiers and light armour. So, yeah, it'd be sort of quite fun, yeah. Yeah. And of course, you got 4 types of cavalry. So, yeah. Kriegsritter, mounted militia raised in electoral provinces. They play a vital part in keeping the peace in the provinces and form a useful supplement to the heavily armed knights in battle. Yeah, and it's you can have yeah, and it's quite interesting that it's sort of, it's not necessarily in a guard or anything like that, but you have the ordinary knights. You have the Hohensknecht, who are the secular orders. Temple Ritterbruden are the religious orders, the Templars and stuff. And then you get the Reichsguard as the foot knights. Yeah, because yeah, it's just sort of, yeah, erased from some by some states to augment the crossbow. It's like you have the Saxon who were basically mustered from the urban population, and they can have a decent spread of stuff because you can have pikes in this, which are quite like shields, light armour, spears, halberds, come with hand weapons, and Landsturm, the rural peasantry. I thought it quite fun to perhaps have a huge horde unit of these guys, spears, shields, with a bit of a hero hidden in there. It's like because spears can fight again with an extra rank or so. I think I missed the yeah. You can have up to 3 cannons. I'm tilting the thing here. Sorry about that. Flagellants. Archer Scouts. Oh, hopefully that's better. And the Forest Jaeger, because there's the foresters can lay traps and stuff in woods and stuff, so that's quite fun. And you can have the old early medieval bombards. Sorry about muttering outside or anything, but yeah, it's gives you who can skirmish and who can't. Yeah, because there are slightly different lists for the mercenaries and the allies, so you can't necessarily. It's like with these guys, there's the old worlders here and there, but it's. I thought it quite fun to perhaps do a contingent that were not Border Reavers, perhaps use some of the Foundry models. But yeah, you got Bretonians, and they could have dragons. But yeah, it's the wizards in this are slightly better. Well, some of the options for wizards are slightly better. You can have 3 scrolls with 3 spells on, rather than compared to Empire. And it's down here. Up to half the army has to be rank and file, and you have to have 4 heroes in minimum and stuff. So yeah, that's quite good, quite interesting. Because it's sort of, yeah, and of course, some of the, yeah, Dave Andrews looking very pleased about his, about having been able to, there we go, about having smuggled his War of the Roses army and being able to pretend it's the Bretonian army, apparently. But yeah. Yeah, it's and you could have wizards, actual wizards, and that's his army's commander, a grand sorcerer, adept of the Sacre Blue cult. Gives you the list here and stuff. But yeah, and you have to take 20 rascals, peasant infantry, similar sort of, you get the brigands, and they can have the arquebuses. Different sorts of weaponry. Rapscallions, ribalds. I think they can be a utility sort of army unit as well. Arbalests. But you have to take 5 of the lesser knights, and at least 5 of them, up to 80. But and 5 of the Chevalier d'Honneur, who are the really powerful ones. And it's because it's quite like that. These were with this batch. The Chevalier de Notre Dame de Bataille. So you could have a magic standard and a magic instrument. And I quite liked that because it's sort of doing a whole holy order, and it's having them as the some of the most powerful cavalry, and then having the whole lord going into battle. And it's the magic banner being the that lightning bolt banner that I pointed out earlier. But yeah, you can have like crossbowmen and arquebusiers. Rapscallions are archers. They're a bit ballistic skill 2. Yes. But yeah, I liked it. Can I take an extra cannon over the Empire, but they can take a bombardier. Upgrade one of the leaders as a bombardier. The Empire. Well, yeah, it's the war altar. And I liked how they could take quite a an equally diverse amount of mercenaries and allies as the Empire and stuff. So yeah, of course you have chaos. Take attributes. I'll have to look into. I've not properly read those, but yeah. Yeah, it's got stuff at the Minotaurs, the Warriors, the Sorcerers, the Beastman, Cultists and Trolls. And it's, up to half the army can be heroes. And you can have up to 8 wizards. I'm just having a look at the mercenaries and the hosts. Still have, you take at Chaos Spawn, so you run with Chaos. But you can have like Chimera, Chaos Centaur, Manticore, Hippogriff. But yeah, it's I like the colour plates. But yeah, because it's even with the Marauders are actual knights, and it's like 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 5 ballistic skill and weapon skill. They can take crossbows and bows, halberds, double weapon. But then, and then you get the warriors who are and they're the most basic ones. And this sort of you get the warriors as well. Yeah, the warriors. These are just the might be able to see 74 points for infantry, and here 80 points for the cavalry. Allows movement allowance and extra stomp attack for of the warhorse. Same with the marauder horses, and it's like the ordinary guys are the thugs. And you have the beastmen and stuff. Again, this is war altar, minotaurs. Yeah, they don't have the restriction, and of course, Mighty Darkwinged Avenging Lord of Chaos, Brian Ansell, and his Mighty Avenging Chaos Army, and King of Mullets, and his Mullet King, well, his crown of Mullet. It's all the stuff in here and stuff. I might try and just, I don't know if we should do a little extra thing involving the book, but yeah, of course you have the Skaven. I like Skaven. It's you don't seem to see many Skaven armies about now. I know there was Dread Paints who'd recently managed to complete his Skaven army, and but you know, you see a lot even just throughout all the Warhammer stuff now. It's all, you don't see much of it at all. But yeah, it's I am rather fond of Skaven. I don't know if I shouldn't pick up another project and get a load of Skaven, but you know, it is tempting. I have thought about it before. It's yeah, and you have, I think I might have missed a page somewhere. Telling you a bit more about stuff here. And I don't think they can have any mounts. Doesn't look like they can. You know, it tells you about wizards and stuff. Oh, yes, I'm having a look at it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this bit. Because I think you have to have at least one hero. You can have up to 6 wizards. Half the army has to be rank and file. But yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, you have the Grey Seer and White Skaven Sorcerer. And you can have a variety of stuff from Clan Escher Assassin Colours and Assassin Garrotters and stuff. The Lord of Decay and the Sewer Tyrant. Well, yeah. They can take the warp stone chunks and stuff. Yeah, Pete Taylor. Yeah, it's just sort of, yeah, this, because I know Andy Chambers, his army's quite famous, but that's a bit later on and stuff. Yeah, and it's yeah. You have to have 50 clan rats and 20 Skaven slaves. Slings, spear, shields, 2.5 points. Well, they do have a decent movement and initiative. Same with these guys, decent movement and initiative. Yeah, leadership's a bit lacking and stuff. But yeah. Still reckon it'd be quite fun because yeah, you can have up to 20 storm rats, extra shock troops. It's having the gutter runners and the night runners, scouts, elite. I did quite like the plague bearers. I don't know what. Yeah, Clan Mulder, Beastmaster. I wasn't really necessarily keen on that, but no rat. Oh yeah, he had the rat ogres in the bestiary. But I'm just reading the hosts. Doesn't seem like you can have giant rats and stuff. Oh, you can have a Jabberwock. I've got one of the Jabberwock models. Yeah. I like them. Yeah, orcs and goblins. They can have wyverns. Not goblins, though. Giant spiders for goblins only. You have the half orc and orc, savage orc, black orc, and the goblin. Yeah, and it's yeah. Yeah, and it's sort of, yeah, you have to have 20 20 boys and 20 arrow boys. You can have chariots and grunters and snorters. The shock troops, or elite, rather. Yeah, and it's a more developed table for the wizards and stuff. But yeah, revered heroes. Yeah, and it's you get in the different, yeah, about how revered they are and stuff. I've not properly looked through some of these sections, but yeah, 20 goblin stickers, 20 gobbos, ordinary gobbos. I'm having a look over here, but yeah, and it's savage arrows. Our stickers are the archers and stuff. Goblin chariot, wolf boys. Yeah, can have up to 20 trolls. Yeah, quite a decent variety of artillery and stuff. Snotling pump wagon again. Organ gun, stone thrower. I'm just having a look. What's the difference between the man mangler and the skull crusher? Oh, this one has a longer range. Oh, this one's bigger, yeah. Yeah, massive one. And a spear chucker with goblin. Yeah, goblin or orc crew. That's pretty good. And it's yeah, Goblin Master Kevin Adams. Yeah, apparently these aren't his sculpts or something. Yeah, I heard a quote once that it was his army, but not. Sorry, here we go. I'm going to have to try and film book-throughs a bit better on another occasion. But perhaps I should have done section by section. I might do that in the future. But yeah, of course, dwarves. And this is a time when they could actually have wizards, but you could only have 2. Slayers, and I quite like this edition. They can have mithril heavy armour, but yeah, troll and giant slayer characters. But with this bombardier upgrade, with this you could gnome units. You can have gnome units in this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sort of dwelling on some of the colour palettes. Yeah, you have to have 20 dwarf crossbowmen, but yeah, 40 warriors. Yeah, because I was thinking about having trying to see if I could have an exclusively gnome army, and I can't. Because I've got the models for it, but I might count them as something completely different. Empire or something, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I'm just having it. Hold on a minute. Ah, sorry. Yes, I was thinking that they can only take a bolt thrower. No, but but no. Organ gun, flame cannon, small bolt thrower, big bolt thrower, stone thrower, fire thrower. I think that's more sort of, yeah, you get the slayers and stuff still. Thunderers, sappers and stuff. Yeah. Can have allies and mercenaries. Dwarf army, but they take halfling mercenaries, and yeah, it's quite good. Because the halfling allies, of course, they can take some of the scouts and stuff. I'll show you a bit later. But yeah, you have the slan instead of lizard men, and they are a distinctly more. amphibious than they are lizard-like. Trying to adjust the camera again. Sorry about this. Yeah, and it rocks. I was hoping it sort of might sort of, yeah, because otherwise it'd be like that permanently, and it's not necessarily any good for viewing the book, is it really? So I'm gonna, yeah. And of course, I'm having to try and lean forwards to adjust to get into stuff. It's gonna have to have a new tripod, of course. Pretty good. I can angle it, but it's just the flexible part of it, and is a bit, yeah, to be required now. But yeah, I know you can get plastic lizard man. Well, it's War Games Atlantic, and yeah, War Games Atlantic, and it's more sort of like the sort of more amphibious style lizard man, and they come with you can have either muskets for them to do like some like a journey to the centre of the earth, Victorian steampunkish sort of escapades, or they come with some generic, yeah, they look more generic sort of lowly infantry sort of stuff. And blessers of water, masters of the deluge, watchers of the rain, seeker of the stars. Yeah, you can have up to half your army's characters. Yeah, I'm looking at restrictions quite like seeing yeah, no restrictions again. But what was it? You have the two types of +1 shock infantry here. These have darts and light armour and shields. Ah, yeah. Heavy armour can be plenty of clout. But yeah, it's Eagle Warriors. This order of Slan Totem Warriors wears battlesuits woven from the feathers and helmets. Battlesuits woven from feathers and helmets shaped like eagles' heads. To become a member of the Eagle Order, it is the highest honour a Slan warrior can gain. Yeah. Warrior priests and stuff. Well, they can have frenzy. Yeah. And the magic I think most of them can, yeah. It's only the bull slan and lower that can't. Ah, 10 spawn band. The toughness 4. Yeah. That takes that as the base, doesn't it? Yeah, even the venom tribes. That might be the precursor to skinks. Or the jungle braves. Yeah, toughness 4. Toughness 4. Yeah, even the scouts have toughness 4. Yeah, even though, yeah, it's they're not very, yeah, they can have blowpipes and darts. Ballistic skill 1, though. Slan Levy. Yeah, I should really hurry up with this, would it? Sort of, yeah. Yeah. Human slaves, let's not mention that. Well, yeah, you get yeah, actual lizard men and troglodytes. Animal handlers. Was it amongst the slang's many subject races are the lizard men, already included in this army, and another one that we won't mention because it's and pygmies. Yeah, it was a bit strange them deciding to put pygmies in. Sorry, here we are. Yeah, these tributary allies are not always trustworthy, but will serve loyally if kept away from their own homelands. Yeah. Baggy strength, no mercenaries though. Yeah. Yeah, they've got to what causes fear charge for the undead. Yeah, you can have, what was it? Lich heroes, undead heroes. Where's the what's it? Here we are. yeah, character models. You have to have one necromancer, vampire, or lit. Yeah. Yeah. Not necessarily any actual heroes, just a wizard. You have to have a wizard. Yeah, and these the heroes and stuff can be up to half. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, it's just sort of yeah. Have to take Grim Reapers, skeletons with double-handed weapons, scythes, and 20 skeleton warriors. Pretty much the same. They look to be exactly the same. It's just you have to take hand weapons, double hand weapons. Quite like you get Death Riders and stuff. Skeleton crossbowmen. That's pretty cool. Mummies, zombies, ghouls. Yeah, I like the fact that they had the plague cart. I was carrion. I was never really. I didn't really like the carrion. Talking about fourth and fifth ad stuff. I wasn't necessarily too sure about those. Well, yeah, that's the last. Oh, is it there? We are. Sorry. Yeah, can have chaos or dark elves as allies. No mercenaries. But then again, it's like, yeah, who's going to really accept money off a scabby dog necromancer and his rotting army? You're probably not really going to want to be. Yeah, you're possibly not going to want to accept money out of a barrow or something. Probably not valid, anyways. Yeah. But yeah, it's the mercenaries and allies. Yeah, the mercenaries seem pretty cool because you could actually have you rolled off to see if they remain loyal, and then your opponent could roll to counter that. But you could spend extra points from your ordinary troop allowance to buy just like 50 points extra on an extra D6 to add to keeping your mercenaries loyal and stuff. Yeah, and then they were basically an army composed on its own right and stuff. And then its allies were pretty much, but without all the strange having to roll off and stuff. But yeah, chaos allies. Yeah, level 20 chaos hero. Loads of 8s. Yeah, he's pretty powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Allied minotaurs and stuff. Yeah, dwarf allies seemed cool. Yeah, skip through these a little bit, but yeah, sort of. Some of these are just reduced forms of the actual army list. It's like you're having to take a contingent commander. But I think in some cases, these guys as well. High elves, yeah, you have to take 10 warriors and the commander. But it's like with these guys, they can take a level 5 hero. And some of them, like the merchant companies, it's an even higher level hero. So it's like with these, it's perhaps taking a more specific, like very much a sea elf mercenary sort of thing. Yeah, and it's like these guys don't necessarily have to have longbows. Merchant companies, and they can have. Oh yes, they do. One half of each unit must be longbows. The other half have to be spears or halberds. But you can take shields as well. Oh, that's curious. But you can take a level 10 hero with that. Yeah. Because I quite like that. Yeah. No restrictions for the mercenaries for the wood allies for the wood elves. And the Femir contingent. And you have to take at least 5 warriors. banners again. Yeah, it's going to... Yeah, because I quite like the option that you could take border horses, and they do seem to be a bit like the border reavers. And it's like, yeah, Kislevites, Imperial Infantry, Britannian Chevalier Errant. It's like you get them involved from an errantry war, and Imperial Templars. And it's quite like, it's like with this, you don't necessarily have to take the army the contingent commander. But if you do take one single unit, then the unit commander is the contingent commander. Yeah, I thought that was quite neat. So it's like with these guys, yeah, it's yeah, going into the sorry, here we go. Just a minute. Where I'm sat, getting back to it. Here we are. Orcs and goblins, no restrictions. Have to take a contingent commander. And the pygmies. Yeah, I don't know. They just seem to be a bit of a strange. They are generally a bit of a strange sort of inclusion into everything. Yeah, them just sort of saying, instead of just saying, halflings get everywhere or something, you just do some regional version of halflings or something. Well, yeah, that just seemed a bit strange. Yeah. And clan warriors, compulsory, and Skaven commander. Yeah. Yeah, because it's, yeah. Have to take 20 skeleton warriors. But yeah, it's under necromancer. But yes, I can sort of understand an allied necromancer being involved. Or yeah, it's a necromancer being allied into something else or something. But yeah, here we go, halflings, because you can bulk out on scouts and archers and stuff. And the militia, ordinary militia, can have a level 10 instead of a level 5. But yeah, it's sort of, yeah, seemed a bit odd. Yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah, this actually would be better, nice to do that and stuff. But yeah, Zotes. 50 points a model. Have to take a Zote Wizard contingent commander. 275 points, level 15. Well, yeah, we get onto the mercenaries. Dwarf mercenaries. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to home in on some of the... yeah, giants only come as mercenaries, but you get some armies can't take giants. Yeah. But you do get the 6 types of giants at the top and can take up to 6 of them. Yeah, you roll to see how big the giant is at the bigger. Same points for all of them, but you just roll to see which sort of giant you get. how big he is. Ogre contingent, and quite a lot of variety in the options for them. Yeah, and it's having half orcs and stuff. Bushwhackers, warriors. They're pretty much exactly the same as... I'm just having a look. Most of them are just sort of... Like with the warriors, the stat line is pretty much human. Yeah. But yeah, it's humans you can take with orcs or something. And then again, it's, yeah, I'm having a bit of luck with these guys. Have to take a hobgoblin Khan. Yeah, hobhound handlers. You can take a standard bearer shaman as well. Yeah, what was it? Hold on. Yeah, it's actually, these guys are slightly different. It's, yeah, sort of almost human, but it's an extra toughness instead of ballistic skill, and then it's their intelligence's stats are a bit different from orcs. Yeah. Samurai. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, having sort of a samurai army, that should be quite fun. But yeah, I always like the Norse mercenaries because you can get berserkers, werewolves, dwarf berserkers, Norse dwarves, Norse troll slayers. Troll slayers get fear, immune to fear, and can frenzy. Berserkers just do frenzy. Yeah, that's quite fun. You can only take a shield, no armor or anything. They can take a shield, mind, but yeah, the berserkers. Well, it might be quite fun because you get sort of 2 or 3 movements in a phase, depending in a turn. Yeah, and this is sort of one of the more obvious sort of things. It's with the old world mercenaries. Instead of you being able to take some like allied Bretonian, an allied, you have a Bretonian errantry group or anything. It's Condottieri from Ty Lee, or the Caballeros from Estalia. Because I quite like Hombres Villanos. Was it sort of a more stereotypical sword duelist like they used to have in the Empire, with the Empire and stuff? Sort of a slightly more elite swordsman, duelist and stuff. But yeah, Italian Bandolero Gringos. Was it Musketeers with an extra ballistic skill? But Italian crossbowmen. +2 missile elite, and they get an extra initiative as well as ballistic skill. Yeah, they're pretty decent. Up to 50. And this is almost over. You can sort of see here. But yeah, brigands. Yeah, the Nuln Landsknecht, and they can have a level 10 hero with them. One moment. The Italians can only have a level 5. But yeah, these can have halberds and heavy armour. One of the strange things about the Bretonian list in this was that you can't get foot knights in that army, but you can get the mercenaries and have these guys with the extra weapon skill and level 10 hero, and put them in heavy armour with halberds instead of pikes, or double-handed weapons instead of pikes. And then have a few Forstjägers, free Forstjägers. From the vast forests of the Empire come many fine woodsmen and hunters. Those seeking adventure join up in one of the many mercenary companies, or free foresters. Yeah, quite like the idea. And it's having perhaps a group of them is. Sorry, going wonky again. That's a bit annoying. I am going to have to see about getting a new tripod for this. This is sort of a test piece. Even the old Bookthrough stuff, it was basically, it was me trying to do it with an iPad at a far off angle, or it was just me in front of the camera with holding the book up in front of it, between me and the camera. But yeah, so I know a bit better. Future ones should be all right, and to supplement this specific one, I might, if you'd be curious about me doing like reference sheets for this. But yeah, if you'd be interested in me doing like if you've got this far at over an hour, if you perhaps like this, the sound of my voice on in the background while you paint or anything like that, let me know if you'd like me to go into a touch more detail about each of the separate sections within this. Hopefully I should have a better tripod by then, and it should be a touch more practical, me doing that, hopefully. So let me know if that's desired and stuff, and Yeah. Type in Free Forest Jaeger if you've managed to get this far. Also, if you've got this far, please like if you liked. I presume. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Any comment. It doesn't necessarily have to be Free Forest Jaeger. If you've got this far, I presume you might quite like the video. You might have got nostalgic for such things. I'll try and do others. I might do better, sort of more close-up bits of each section if folks want. Anyway, like the magic section or the magic equipment section, etc. If you'd like to see specific videos on each section, let me know, and it just leaves me to say, all I need to say now is stay safe, stay groovy.